welcome to game 2 of the match, Kubu versus Koehni. Koehni has a 1-0 lead. What's the match format for this match look like, Sounder?
Yeah, so this is the finals of medium games. So instead of first to 2.5, the finals is first to 3.5. We do just continue alternating starts until a player reaches that number of 3.5 or 4 wins. If we do have a tie in game 7, we will just keep playing until we have a winner.
Can you mute your browser tab?
What's that?
Can you mute your browser tab?
Yeah.
I heard a beep when a message came in. Vampire does trigger Urchin. Innkeeper Urchin is an interesting interaction. Sometimes it's hard to collide your Urchins. And Innkeeper makes it very, very easy to collide your Urchins. So, sometimes you open double Urchin, you see one turn 3, and you buy like a third Urchin, and in that case, you just buy an Innkeeper or something, and that makes it much more likely to collide them turn 5. I think all of the Knight cards can see play here, especially Den of Sin, but I think Cobbler can see some play here, because there's stuff you want to gain, Bauble, Settlers, Innkeeper, and so on. Den of Sin's nice for duration draw. Vampire's nice for gaining Dens of Sin, and the Bat can help you trash as well. Settlers is going to actually be pretty decent here with the discard attack to pick up coppers. Settlers kind of functions more like a peddler here. And if you want to build up an engine with multiple terminals, then you need to get to the bustling village there. There's also Moat with all the attacks. You could grab some Moats. Can we reliably top deck a Moat? I don't think so. But with Woodworkers Guild, we can do some stuff.
Yeah, at the start of your buy phase, you may spend a favor to trash an action card from your hand if you did gain an action card. So it does have to be an action card, so we can't gain any of the good 5 cost night cards through the Woodworkers Guild.
Yeah, but if you have an Urchin in play... No, that's not how this works. You have to play... When you play another action card with this in play, okay. You couldn't, trash something into an Urchin to activate Urchin. But yeah, so you're kind of happy to take extra Settlers at early points, and then just plan on trashing them into Barbarians or something. I don't know. Maybe that's not that useful. There aren't really good 5-cost, there's not like a Grand Market pile or something that you can...
No, and if you were able to, add dens that way, if it was an action card, if you were able to gain night cards, I could certainly see it getting some play, but it doesn't seem all that relevant here.
Yeah, I guess then I'm kind of in on double Urchin, and you hope to collide them, which is a sad way to play, but doesn't...
Yeah, there's not a whole lot else to do on the open, is there?
You could go Urchin Silver or Silver, try to get some early vampires. Bauble is interesting.
Yeah, that wasn't on my radar.
If you see Bauble turn 3, you can top deck an Urchin for turn 4.
Bauble Moat. I don't know that you need the Moat yet.
Yeah, I don't really get it.
And Koehni getting the Urchin collision on turn 3 is pretty nice. Doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, you just hate to see it as an opponent. It's just. I've definitely gone games where I bought Urchins on my first 4 turns, and it's not till turn 7 or 8 or 9 I see my mercenary, and it's my opponent's already attacked me and trashed 3 times. So if this was. Yeah, if we had bought an Urchin here instead of Moat, we could have top-decked the Urchin here, and we would have actually collided as Kubu. So Kubu had the option to collide with their Bauble Urchin opening. Now, if you collide the Bauble and the Urchin, then you're sad. But Kubu got 2 Settlers. Innkeeper seems better. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, the Settlers are going to be nice, but they're not doing a whole
Oh,
lot
sorry.
here.
Koehni bought a silver on turn 3. I think Innkeeper is definitely better than silver. Um, we can do pretty nice things with our shuffles with Innkeeper, and settlers are going to be very good with Innkeeper as well, right? Innkeeper will put the coppers into the discard pile and be able to draw them back. For
Yeah,
Kubu, this should just be top deck Vampire.
top deck a vampire. Yep.
I don't think Bauble Moat is supposed to spike Vampire. I don't see it. I think like Silver Bubble will do it. But
No.
what? Okay, they didn't realize their opponent was mercenary attacking them, so it doesn't end up mattering, the undo.
No. Yeah, it doesn't.
The mercenary does run out of food here pretty quickly, for whatever that's worth. I think this is ball here for Koehni. Ball for settlers. Bauble. Bauble. Ball for Bauble.
Think so over a den? I kind of like a den here. Or a vampire
We're just
even.
hitting 5s. I want plus buy in the deck, I guess. I want to get some settlers. I want to get to... Yeah, I guess I just want plus buy in the deck.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see getting a plus buy now.
And ball lets you get 2 cards for 5, and you don't feel so bad about hitting 7.
Yeah.
We see a miserable, which is, should not really materially affect the outcome of this game.
I wouldn't think so.
Okay, so here we can get a clean shuffle with Innkeeper, draw 3, discard 3 coppers, discard 3 coppers, trash 2 estates, draw to the end of the shuffle.
Yeah, they don't have anything else down there of value, do they?
I don't think so. So this is why I wanted the Bauble last turn.
Yeah.
'Cause
yeah, you're right. Getting that plus buy in the deck is pretty important.
Then again, maybe we don't find everything. But yeah, they could have played the Innkeeper to draw 2 more cards, discard 2 coppers, and that seems like it's strictly better than what they did here.
Yeah. Certainly you ball now for a Bauble and settlers or something else. Oh,
Yeah.
just province.
Their deck is going to run out of food pretty quickly for that mercenary. I worry about that. Like, yeah, this is the time where Kubu can grab like 2 more settlers here, and then the settlers bustling village draw and start adding barbarians. So yeah, like get by top deck here, top deck 2 settlers, trash 2 estates, and then next turn. But, what is the second vampire doing?
Gaining more dens, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Den's a very strong card here, right? I can believe in
Yeah.
taking 2 Dens here, and they've already got the plus buy. Cooney does stop and get the Bauble. I think getting Province on turn 7 and then Bauble on turn 8 is sort of indicating that they hadn't fully thought through the plan.
Yeah.
Um,
I got a Bauble off the locust trash, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice
Yeah.
locust.
Again, though, Cooney doesn't have very much money in their deck. So they gained
Yeah,
an
they're-
Urchin and a Settlers. That doesn't...
Yeah,
I
that's a
don't...
little bizarre.
I just wanted 2 Dens, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the Urchin's doing for you. When you got 2 vampires, you got the bats are going to do the trashing for you. So I don't know if they're trying to get a mercenary late. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. And otherwise the Urchin's not really doing anything. It's just a cantrip.
Yeah. And
I
like,
could see getting a second Bauble at some point for Kubu, but I want a little more deck control first, and the Dens are going to give you that deck control.
and you can just use Bauble for coins buy for buy then. And if you happen to hit 10 or something, you can do ball, or if you hit a big number, you can do ball
Yeah.
plus you
Yeah,
can.
you don't need the third buy yet. Maybe you don't ever need the third buy.
Yeah, or you pick it up at some point off of a ball, or you know.
Yeah, once you have better deck control.
Yeah, but like I actually believe in basically every vampire play for the rest of the game gains a Den of Sin. And
Yeah.
then
Tell the-
you
yeah.
maybe have to buy some coppers later with Bauble just to have something to trash to the bats, but then you get the Bustling Villages and you get a bunch of Barbarians and you just attack Koehni's deck, which is pretty thin and doesn't have a lot of pieces in it.
Yeah.
4
Yeah,
here.
If they had another den coming into play, that could have been a much better turn. Guess they want to reveal the bustlings. I think that's all right. I mean,
Yeah,
they
their
could
deck
never-
could support it. So I guess, yeah, I didn't want to start greening into you had a bunch of Dens of Sin in the decks, is my thought.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Because we're seeing these,
A lot of dens are completely gone.
like, Cooney's needs to buy, I guess they need to buy a village here, and then buy a Barbarian next turn, maybe buy a Vampire, because maybe they just need to buy a Vampire here as the best card for their deck.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the second Vampire for Kubu, but I understand it at least. Well, until they gained non-Dens of Sin.
Yeah, until they didn't gain the dens off him.
But yeah, Den of Sin, or Bustling Village, or yeah, Vampire here makes sense to me. They can get a Vampire and like a Bauble, a Vampire and a Moat. Bustling Village and Moat, I suppose. Oh, and you can top deck the Moat, which is cute.
Yeah, that's nice.
So here you can max draw with Innkeeper, which is nice. I don't know why we didn't max draw there. I feel like we make it up with the... I feel like we would have drawn that extra settlers and discarded those extra coppers.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we can woodwork this Urchin into a Bustling Village now.
Oh yeah, that's a good call.
Which I would definitely do. Because the second Urchin does nothing for your deck now, right? And we need to buy a...
Before you do that, or are they just going to bat all their copper? Well, no, they can't
you have to
bat
play. You play your treasures after that.
Oh, okay. It's before the buy phase.
All allies you can only use once, basically, unless it says repeat if desired.
Is that the language? Yeah.
So 1 or 2 allies say repeat if desired. So Kubu desperately needs a Barbarian here.
But they need to trash copper, so they can't afford it.
I don't think they should trash a copper. I think they should hold on to a bat this turn.
Really?
Yeah, and get their bats alternating, and then, yeah, Barbarian is the best card for the deck, I think. I think they're too thin now, and they're going to have a difficult time affording. Yeah, this draw that Kubu has here is a direct consequence of them having not drawn 2 extra cards and discarded 2 extra cards with Innkeeper last turn.
Yeah.
They would have basically drawn deck last turn if they did that, given this draw order.
Boy, DZ, I have no clue. I don't know these allies well enough.
The guide allied says that. The one that lets you...
Desert Guide?
Yeah, Desert Guide says that.
It's the one that you can draw. You discard a card and draw a card. You can do that multiple times, right?
Yep. And discard the top 3 cards of your... Look at the top 3 cards of your deck and discard them.
Is that Cave Dwellers?
Oh, the one I found recently, the one that lets you peek at the top 3 cards of your deck and discard the Survivors one, is really fun with Village Green. I played a Village Green Catacombs deck, and it's like I have a dud. Let me hope maybe there's a Village Green in the top 3 I can discard and draw on.
Yeah.
So Barbarian, I think both these players are sort of aware of the meta-analysis that Barbarian is a somewhat weak attack and that it tends to be overbought. At least, like, I'll say lower level players and maybe below the level of these 2 players here, who are the medium games finalists, tend to get Barbarians because they're like, oh, I'm going to hit their good cards and I'm going to beat them that way. But I think these players realize that Barbarian is not a very good card. These are pretty big decks, and you're not often going to hit something, and the cost of playing a terminal and so on is high. However, wow, that was an amazing dead draw there.
Yeah.
That
Draw a copper and a Bauble is pretty darn nice.
I think they only have one more treasure in those 9 cards.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I want a I want a Barbarian and a Den of Sin right now.
Yeah, I could go for that.
The Barbarian is for payload. The Den of Sin is for duration draw. I just don't want more. I just don't want more moats. Like your opponent has what, one more mercenary trash in them this game.
Yeah, the moats.
And maybe with Bustling
I
Village.
guess you're going for the Bustling Village Settlers moat draw, but man, I just want all the dens.
Den just helps that deck, right?
Yeah, I mean there's I mean you can do all that, but they seem to be both really wanting to go after these bustling villages. Yeah, you want to get one or two in your deck, but
Yeah.
I feel like you need more dens.
This question is, what is Kuehni doing now? They got this province on turn 7. It's now turn 12, and they haven't greened again. Both players are loading up on the moats.
Yeah, and they could have balled there instead of just buying one moat. They could have balled. Well, balled for what? A moat and a Innkeeper.
Yeah, Innkeeper seems like a fine card for the deck. We play the Settlers for sure. I mean, we're always going to play the Settlers if it draws us a card.
Yeah.
This is just like best case. Like they had a bad turn last turn, Kubu did, but now we're doing the thing.
Yeah.
So now we can play. I guess we just play Innkeeper for +1. We're drawing deck here.
Yeah. I hate both these. Yeah.
This is a tricky kingdom. I don't.
Yeah, it's not easy. Coney went for the gold a couple turns ago over Barbarian, but
Yeah, so we could have played Innkeeper. We could have played. Okay, so we could have played Innkeeper. Oh, it doesn't work with the order. You can seed a moat with this Innkeeper, but we had exact draw there, so it didn't work. We could have played Innkeeper to discard some, and then discard 3 moats and then draw a moat to guarantee top deck. As it is, I guess we can just use moats to trash to bat. But for me, this is pretty clearly Barbarian plus Den of Sin.
Yeah.
Trash 1 moat. I think that we want to load up on the Dens of Sin. Barbarian is going to be our payload, roughly speaking. And if you can hit, there's a couple cards you can hit for them, which are actually pretty hurtful. If you hit their mercenary, it's annoying. If you hit their Innkeeper, it's going to be annoying. They've got 3 bustling villages now, so that's not that annoying. They've got only 1 Den of Sin, and if Barbarian hits Den of Sin, you don't gain anything, right?
Because there's no lower cost night card on this kingdom in this kingdom. Yeah, I wonder if they follow. I mean, both players do have quite a few moats, so I wonder if they just follow with the.
They're just going to top deck a moat every turn. I guess, yeah. At what cost? I guess you could get a gold then. I mean, as the alternative, or you just get pairs of Dens of Sin for a while.
Yeah, they do get the Barbarian.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Boy, yeah, you've got.
And this is definitely we trash a moat. Yeah, and they should take a Den of Sin here.
Yeah, this has got to be I guess another Barbarian's fine if you draw.
Well, the problem is they top deck the moat, and then all of a sudden you just bought a terminal silver. So
You got 2 coppers, so yeah.
I'm just not that worried about eating a moat either, because you've got all these settlers and you've got the settlers to get back to coppers, and you've got the
Right.
bustlings to get back to settlers, and you've got Den of Sins. You are going to be starting with 5 cards or more in hand every turn.
Yeah, especially Kubu now has got such a thick deck with buying those coppers back. They really need to get a couple dens going every turn.
Yeah, and you run the risk of top decking settlers and bustling villages, and then you have no extra draw, and you're just playing them all as cantrips.
Yeah.
This shuffle did not play out well. I think the bottom card there is a moat. I think you just discard Copper Mercenary here and buy good stuff and forgo the attack, especially given that your opponent's got moats in their deck, and you forgo the attack and say, I've got... Do they have 2 moats?
I believe so.
Oh, there's 2 in the trash.
Oh, maybe not.
So...
Not sure what that last card is.
I think you can forgo trashing here and just discard Mercenary, Copper, Silver. The alternative is ugly, right? You have to discard Silver, Gold, Bauble or something and trigger a shuffle with 2 treasures on top. I do not want a province. I want more Dens of Sin.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to continue. I mean, if Pony just goes into province mode, they're not going to be able to keep it up. I don't think. Without some real nice draws. They need more dens.
You can also Woodworkers Guild this mercenary at some point into something. But yeah, I think I discard Mercenary Copper Bauble, and then that gives you 8 and a buy, and you can get another Den of Sin, perhaps, or in theory, you can even get a Vampire, worth the Vampire gaining a Den of Sin every turn.
Yeah.
What does chat think? Are we over evaluating the ability of Den of Sin here?
Arska, and looks like there's some clamoring for provincing here. I just think it'd be hard to keep up single provincing every turn.
Yeah, like they could do it next turn with the Den coming in. And then they start to get Barbarian attacked a little bit, and it hits a couple of their pieces. I've already lost a game to Barbarian hitting a province and having to take a duchy.
Oh, Strumpf is right. Yeah, last card is province. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, we were talking about what the last card in the deck was earlier. Last card in the deck is a province.
Okay, why did we keep a Bauble over a Silver? Okay, because we're doing this Moat Den of Sin. Okay.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
They've got three bustling villages, so yeah, so this is what I mentioned last turn with the if you top deck this stuff and the Innkeeper is pretty deep in the shuffle, this is just a really sad draw.
Three or 6 here?
I think you do the 5. You discard all the coppers. You've got a bustling village and 2 more settlers, so you can draw 3 of the 6 cards that you discard, assuming you don't draw.
That's right. You draw 5, discard 6.
Yeah, so you draw 5 and you discard basically 5 coppers and a settlers, and then you draw the settlers back. Yeah, so the problem we see here is if Koehni's going to top deck a Moat every turn, then, this is why this is maybe better than Province. If Koehni's going to top deck a Moat every turn, then it's not clear to me what value Kubu's getting out of the Barbarians. So I definitely think we trash 1 copper and gain like 2 Dens of Sin here. And then the Innkeeper settlers drawing coppers, your deck is quite a bit more resilient to the Barbarian attack if your opponent gets it in, because you've got all these coppers.
Yeah.
If Barbarian gave you 3 money, though, it actually like starts to become good, and then games are just, oh, I have the 5/2 and I got a Barbarian, and now I'm doing Barbarian stack, and the game's no fun.
Well, if you've got the village support for it, yeah.
Yeah, or whatever. I'm just doing Barbarian money now. If Barbarian costs 3, I'm playing Barbarian turn 3, buying a gold, buying a second Barbarian, and then like
No, Barbarian gives you 3 money instead of 2 money, not costs 3 money.
yeah. If Barbarian gives you 3 money, then you play Barbarian turn 3, buy a gold, and you're playing Barbarian big money, and
Oh, okay.
it like
Yeah.
that's not really viable, but it like starts to become close to viable. Uh,
All right. So what did they? What did they? Oh, they balled. Innkeeper silver. Yeah, I think just 2 dens there seem pretty good.
yeah, the Innkeeper is quite nice in their deck. The silver is pretty mediocre. It's not clear to me that silver is any better than Moat or Bauble there.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, especially for Kubu. The second Innkeeper is definitely a great card for their deck.
Okay, so you can go buy coin and buy and get 2 Dens of Sin and a Moat. You can't top deck though.
Yeah, I would think they want to top deck another Moat here, right?
Yeah, probably. The bottom card of the deck is a Bustling Village, I believe. So
Right.
what happened? So it's going to come down to that this random province turn 7 matters because they're going to lower the piles, and Koehni's going to have green much too early, but have this extra green card in their deck. I think that line's okay, given that they had that you have a village on top.
Yeah.
And if they can just province Moat a couple more times. So again,
5 card draw.
yeah.
Not sure what you're discarding here besides 2 copper, silver bat. Maybe
Yeah,
discard
basically all of the treasures. They needed more Dens of Sin for this. I think when you had this many Innkeepers in deck, the first Innkeeper should have been +3. But
3 and then plus if you need, yeah.
yeah, because we're triggering what is a very, very bad shuffle here.
Yeah, I don't want to trigger that. Now I'm definitely looking at a second den here.
Yeah. So here we actually, I guess Kubu needs to go province, trash copper, gain another Den of Sin, and hope that the vampires can gain enough duchies along the way, perhaps.
They don't have enough to province and trash a copper here.
Oh, they had the -1 coin token. Yeah. Oh, I don't know then. That's tough.
Yeah, you're starting to fall behind in points. Oh,
Yeah. And we need more money. Money seems like the thing that we're missing in this deck right now, right?
yeah, now they're getting the dens. I mean, sure would have been nice to have those earlier.
It's actually a really, really bad hit for Koehni.
For Barbarian, yeah. The Moat is nicer than the Urchin if you've got...
And you've lowered the Urchin pile. You lowered the Moat pile, so you can only top deck Moat one more time.
Right.
But this game is very close to over. The Den of Sin pile is running potentially. The Moat pile's gone. The Bauble pile can disappear very quickly. I assume this is just top deck Moat, though, by province.
Yeah.
And with decent draw order, they can... I mean, if they see a Bustling Village or an Innkeeper near the top, they can province again. And I'm not really sure how Kubu's going to be able to handle that.
Yeah, it feels like they're just too far behind on points.
Woodworkers Guild can also spin Urchins into Urchins, things like lower piles that way. There's some...
Yeah. Yeah, and with balling, if yeah, we are close to a pile out with ball on the board.
Yeah, I mean, with Woodworkers Guild and double ball, you can get
And you can
most of the baubles very very quickly. Um,
yeah, or like you said, urchin as well.
yeah, the Urchin pile with Woodworkers Guild, or yeah, ball for. Yeah, I assume we play Bauble for coin. We play Bauble for favor top deck and favor buy. I think having a couple of extra favors can be useful in this kingdom, that we can potentially start spinning some of our actions to other actions. But yeah, okay. They maybe don't need any favors. They can take those later. Um, I think just Moat province and then look to piling stuff next turn. I mean,
Yeah,
you could be greedy and just ball for 4 urchins here, or ball for 3 urchins and a moat, and then maybe that's not terrible. Ball for
yeah,
3 urchins and a moat, top deck the moat. Uh, Gold.
gold. Not sure why the gold is needed.
Double Den does not seem unreasonable either. The problem I think is Koehni's capped in VP. I don't understand that gold at all. For what it's worth, I don't. I have no idea why they bought a gold there.
Are they trying to hit double province? I mean, they're still short of that, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're up. They could have been up 3 provinces to 0. You don't need to double province if you've got a 3 province lead.
No.
Um,
Oh, before the bauble pile out next turn?
they could afford the Bauble pile out without the gold though.
Yeah. It's just
It takes 12 and 3 buys, and they had 12 that turn. So they could have just bought a Denizen instead of the gold and gone for the pile out that way.
yeah.
And then they don't risk this dud here, which we don't know yet because we haven't seen 3 cards. So we're seeing now one of the problems with Kubu's deck is they have drawn deck. They don't have a lot of food for the bat, which is why I didn't really want the second vampire all the way back when they bought it. And we're barely hitting 8.
Yeah, and they have the province here. Just bat one of the moats, obviously, but
Yeah. And I think they have to vampire for Duchy, too. Sadly, I
yeah,
don't think they have time for Den of Sin, and hope that they draw an Innkeeper near the top and they can discard a bunch of coppers and settler them all back.
silver's fine, I guess, although this next turn could be a little rough with only one den incoming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they do take the second den. Oh, they bat the settlers. I would have batted the moat there.
Yeah, I mean, the Moat can draw 2. The Settlers can also draw 2, I guess.
Yeah, I guess as long as I guess they have the village support to keep all the moats, so maybe it's fine.
Yeah, so Innkeeper draws... So win in hand? This is a win in hand. They've got 13 and 3 buys, so they can pile out the baubles here. They can even gain... they can even pile the urchins here.
And they can ball 3 times here, can't they?
Yeah. I, for one, thought Disney was, going a little overboard with the sequels in Cinderella 3 when she went to the 3rd ball and discovered the prince. But, well, that was a win for Koehni, and we move on to game 3.